What was that? Donald Trump's interview on Fox moments ago, bizarre to say the least. A total disaster. It was with Laura Ingraham, and Donald Trump points out on his desk that the button you see is for his Coca-Cola. It's not the nuclear codes, he says. Here, play this clip.
It's a Coke button.
It's right here. Everyone thinks that's the nuclear. Everyone thinks that's the nuclear weapon.
Seriously? Then Donald Trump says this. Let's play it.
Going down when we're servicing our debt to the tune of about $1.2 trillion a year. And there's still deficit spending in Congress. How do we do that?
We have to pay off our debt. We have to start paying it off. Look, we're very under-leveraged when you look at the asset value of this country, but we're over-leveraged in terms of cash flow. We're going to have a big cash flow. We're going to take in, for years we allowed our country to be raped and pillaged, terrible expressions. And that's what happened. Much of it was done by our friends.
Next, Donald Trump talks about the trillions of dollars that the country is going to make by selling Trump gold cards to Chinese and Russian oligarchs. Seriously, play it.
Let's say we sell 1 million of them. That's $5 trillion. We are now a unbelievably successful country, paying down tremendous amounts of debt. It's all going to pay down debt. We're going to have very little debt.
Separate fund.
But if you did, think of it, if you did $5 million. Now,
Donald Trump then says the country has been fat, dumb, and foolish. Looking in the mirror, here, play this clip.
Be a summit in June.
It could be. I mean, I wouldn't mind a summit, but there's going to be something else taking place. It's called April 2nd. And that's going to be tariffs. And China will pay and other countries will pay. We've been ripped off by every country in the world, friend and foe. And on April 2nd, I call it the liberation of America. We've been the fat, dumb, foolish country that allowed everybody to rip us off, including our...
Next up, Donald Trump shows Laura Ingraham a photo of the Declaration of Independence, which he pretends is the original copy of the Declaration of Independence. It is not the actual Declaration of Independence. It's not the original, but this is what hucksters do. Play this clip.
Reagan.
Oh, I love Reagan.
But here's what they're like more than anything. So this is the Declaration of Independence.
Wow.
And they ask that this be done. It's never been up. It's been in the vaults for many, many decades. And they said, we have to do something like drapes or something because the light eventually affects it. And it's very cool.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that great? Just went up yesterday.
Wow.
Think Joe Biden would do this? I don't think so. Do you think he'd think of it? Do you think he knows what it is?
Wow.
No, but look at it. So,
I mean, he has to lie about literally everything. That's not the original Declaration of Independence. He's made up the whole story. Next, Donald Trump says that all of his people, they want to call the Trump gold card, they want to call it a gold card or the Trump card. They're trying to figure out the branding right now. Let's play this clip.
it's a graduation. They'll buy these.
Why should any American kid become a computer
And by the way, they're going to
scientist?
call it either the gold card. The problem is there's many gold cards. Well, I will tell you what my people want to call it. It'll drive you crazy. It'll drive the left crazy. They want to call it the Trump card because the Trump card sells much better than the gold card. Everybody has a
So you're not worried about any unsavory people coming in and taking...
Yeah, I'm worried about unsavory, in which case we're going to...
They're going to be vetted.
Give them the money back and they get out.
They'll be properly vetted.
They're going to be properly vetted, but, you know, we're talking about a lot of people. I think it's going to be very successful. If somebody's wrong, we actually are very, very nice because it makes it a lot easier legally. We give them their money back and we send them out.
Now,
So as American people are suffering now economically, as prices are not going down, as people are seeing their pensions and 401ks and life savings disappear, as Donald Trump lies about all of his promises, should we call it the gold card for the oligarchs or do we call it the Trump card? So ridiculous. Next, Donald Trump says that he's a nationalist, and as a nationalist, he will make sure America does less business with Europe. Here, play this clip.
From somewhere. Some of it's going to come from Europe because not everybody's going to be doing as much business maybe in Europe and other places. But I can only speak for the United States. And I am a nationalist, and I'm proud of it. I love this country. And I want to help other countries too. Look.
Then Donald Trump and Laura Ingraham walk outside of the White House, and he says that he wasn't sure about running in 2024 because he says the 2020 election was rigged. Play it.
You're coming back into office when you walked out of here.
Well, I felt that, but I didn't know. Let me say it. I didn't know if I was going to run because I knew how much I won that election by. But if I thought I didn't win the election, I absolutely wouldn't have run.
Wow.
But
he's still whining about the 2020 election right now. This guy is a perpetual whiner. Next up, Donald Trump talks about why he's paving over the Rose Garden because of women's high heels who walk over the Rose Garden. Play it.
After you.
Are you paving over the grass here?
What was happening is that's supposed to have events. Every event you have, it's soaking wet.
Yeah.
It's soaking wet, and people can't. And the women with the high heels, it's just too much.
That's who did the Kavanaugh.
That's where we did. That's right.
Amy Coney Barrett.
And the grass it doesn't work, and we have a gorgeous stone and everything else.
Okay.
But we use it for press conferences, and it doesn't work because the people fall into into the wet.
The roses stay. The grass goes.
The roses stay. No, it's a rose garden. No, all of this stays. Just the center section. I think it's going to be beautiful. I think it's going to be more beautiful. Look at that view over there. See that?
You guys, it's possibly my favorite time of the week when I get to talk to you about coffee. My days don't start till I drink my coffee, and I'm not talking about just any coffee. You know I don't mess with just any coffee. I'm talking about freshly roasted specialty coffee delivered right to my door thanks to Trade. Trade is the #1 U.S. specialty coffee marketplace, working with over 50 of the country's top roasters to bring you fresh, incredible coffee at grocery store prices. I took their quick coffee quiz, and they matched me with the greatest bag of coffee from Colombia from a roaster named Klatch Coffee. I could smell it before I even opened the bag. The flavor is incredible. Fruity notes, even a hint of vanilla, I'd say. So good. And if you're picky about coffee, Trade makes sure that you get it right. If your first bag isn't perfect, they will replace it for free. Every bag is roasted to order, so you'll taste the difference in every sip. And right now, Trade is offering our listeners 40% off your first order. Just go to drinktrade.com/Meidas. That's drinktrade.com/MEIDAS for 40% off your first order. Start your morning right with Trade.
I mean, seriously, what the hell are we even watching here? Sometimes when I cover what they're doing on Fox in these Trump interviews, I think to myself, this would make Kim Jong-un's propagandists blush. Like, what, really? And it's also odd here. Laura Ingraham, I guess, at least asks a somewhat normal question. Do you feel it makes sense to you to allow people like, I don't know, Russian oligarchs and Chinese oligarchs to buy American citizenship? And Trump goes, yeah, that's American first. Let's play it.
With Canada than you are with some of our biggest adversaries.
Only because it's meant to be our 51st Street. And
okay, but
but listen to this for a second.
We need their territory. They have territorial advantage. We're not going to let them get close to China.
Look, right? I deal with every country, indirectly or directly. One of the nastiest countries to deal with is Canada. The people that, now this was Trudeau, the people that good old Justin, I call him Governor Trudeau, his people were nasty, and they weren't telling the truth. They never told the truth. You know that, they'd say, well, we don't charge. Well, they do. They charge tremendous. And
I just think to myself, like, what MAGA person watches that and goes, yeah, man, give those Chinese oligarchs citizenship here. That's what we voted for. America first. What? Then Donald Trump talks about he can tell by looking at the people who's going to be trouble, the people who show up in the country unchecked and vetted. He goes, you just look at them. You can profile them and you can tell which ones are going to be trouble. Play this clip.
Nobody has any idea. We had people pouring through our country, totally unchecked, totally unvetted. You could look at them and say, this is going to be trouble. And
yeah, you see, that's why we need due process. That's why we have due process, so that Donald Trump doesn't look at people who have a different color skin than him and go, oh, that person's trouble. So I guess we're going to send them to concentration camps in El Salvador, and you can't challenge it. And I'm declaring a war with Venezuela that doesn't exist, so I can declare war powers and you can't question me. That's what Trump's saying and doing. Look, I think there should be call me old fashioned. I believe in due process. I believe if someone's committed a crime, they should pay the penalty for the crime. I'm a strong believer in law and order. Well, then show me the crime. Just prove it. Show the evidence, right? That's what a country of law and order is. Donald Trump's then asked if we're going to have a recession in 2025, to which Trump says, we have the strongest country in the history of the planet. Let's play it.
71%.
Will we see a recession in 2025? Are you ruling it out?
We're going to have the strongest economic country in the history of the world, of the planet. We are taking...
So after that bizarre press conference, you then have Howard Lutnick, Donald Trump's commerce secretary, goes on the state regime media known as Fox, and he says, you need to buy Tesla. You need to buy Tesla stock right now. Play it.
To build the next generation technology. I think if you want to learn something on this show tonight, buy Tesla. It's unbelievable that this guy's stock is this cheap. It'll never be this cheap again. When people understand the things he's building, the robots he's building, the technology he's building, people are going to be dreaming of today and Jesse Waters and thinking, gosh, I should have bought Elon Musk's stock. I mean, who wouldn't invest in Elon Musk? You got to be kidding. All right, so you're calling.
Yes, so you have the commerce secretary trying to pump up Tesla stock. Again, we can't normalize this behavior. You're the commerce secretary and you're pumping up an oligarch stock who then gives money to Trump. Like, we all know that this is not how the system's supposed to be. Like, this should piss you off. I want to share this with you to close this video, which is a small portion of my interview with Senator Bernie Sanders. And I think it stands in such stark contrast to what I shared with you. You may agree with me, you may disagree. But watch this message. And this is why I'm a big fan of Senator Sanders and his Fight the Oligarchy tour. This was my interview with him. Just play this small clip.
And here is the reality, which is not talked about very much. The reality is that in America today, our life expectancy is about 4 years less than other wealthy countries. But even worse is the fact that if you're working class in America, on average, you live 7 to 8 years shorter life than people who are wealthy. Now, why is that? And the answer is not just healthcare, which is important. Working class people, low-income people do not have access to the kind of healthcare that the rich do, but it is the stress, the day-to-day stress that working class people live under. And I grew up in a working class home. I know a little bit about what it's like to have a family living paycheck to paycheck. And what I did, that was in Altoona, Wisconsin. I said, okay, all right, tell me what it's like to live under economic stress. And people just stood up. And one woman says, it's a question of whether I buy shoes for myself or my kids, whether I can afford eyeglasses, whether I can afford to go to the doctor, whether I'm going to have the money to prepare a decent meal for my kids, that I live every day not knowing, what to expect. How do I survive? And what that is about, that is the reality that tens of millions of our people are living under. We don't talk about it. And what I have learned, the most important issues are the issues that get least discussion. And one of those issues is not just that working class people live 6 years shorter lives, 7 years shorter lives than the rich. That's important. Why is that? But what's equally important is 60% of the American people in the richest country on earth live paycheck to paycheck. That means they go to work, and if their landlord raises the rent, they don't know how they're going to be able to pay for it. Kid gets sick, don't know how to can afford to send the kid to the doctor. Car breaks down, don't know how to get it fixed, etc., etc. That is the reality facing tens of millions of Americans in the wealthiest country on earth. And that is the issue that we got to focus on. And that is why we got to transform our economy so that it works for everybody, not just billionaires.
See the difference there? You see the difference there? You see what he's focusing on things that are impacting people? Let me know what you think. We're grateful for your support. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 5 million subscribers. Thank you so much.
Can't get enough Meidas? Check out the Meidas Plus Substack for ad-free articles, reports, podcasts, daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, and more. Sign up for free now at MeidasPlus.com.